Tennis is so hard. You're playing every single week. You're not going to win every single week. It's impossible. So, putting that much pressure on yourself is just, stuff that you don't need.
I definitely want to talk about the
Mhm.
French Open with
Yeah.
you, kicking off here very shortly. So you made it to the quarterfinals back in 2022, and I know you'd love to get even further this year, but the whole field kind of has a target on Iga's back right now. It's kind of like she's won this tournament 4 out of the last 5 times. How do you approach that tournament knowing someone like Iga kind of thrives in this environment?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because obviously she's dominated the last, few years now on the clay. Always has been known to be an amazing clay court player. I mean, last year winning, I think Madrid, Rome, and the French is an insane statistic. And I know maybe this year she obviously hasn't had the same results, but I mean that's asking a lot to do the exact same thing. That's the trouble when you win a lot, people expect more of it, and it's not exactly easy to just to repeat really good results. So it'll be interesting. I think this is the first lowest seed she's been in a while. So that means, she'll fall into somebody, a top seeded 4 seeds bracket somewhere. And I think it'll just be interesting to see how the draw plays out. Tennis, it's very specific, I feel like, with matchups as well. Sometimes it can be a really good draw, it can really be a difficult draw. The draw can kind of break down and someone kind of sneaks through. So um there's a lot of kind of factors that go into it, but I would say I think she's still a favorite just because of how well she's played at that venue for so long. But I think there's a lot more favorites now than the past few years for the clay. So it'll be kind of cool to see how the draw I think turns out specifically. But I'm excited to get it going. I mean, yeah, hopefully I can get back to the quarters or better there. I feel like my clay court season's been a little up and down, but hopefully I can save my best tennis for Paris.
Absolutely. And for you personally, the latest WTA rankings just put you 3 in the world,
Mhm.
which is an incredible accomplishment for you, and you're right there, right with Coco
Yeah.
Gauff, a fellow American. Talk about the work that's kind of gone into maintaining a top 5 ranking like that.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, to be top 5, you have to be winning tournaments, you have to be posting big results in the 1000s or the Grand Slams, and that's not easy to do, especially with all the depth that we have in women's tennis. So, um I mean, a lot goes into it. I think the main thing that I always feel like I come back to is just, if you don't are not having great results or you're not having maybe the results that you wanted, I think not to kind of fall into that kind of trap of like, "Oh, I'm not playing well, my confidence is down," everything getting kinda negative. I think you kinda just have to use it as, "Okay, this happened, I'm not playing my best, how do I get better?" And just kind of shove the results kinda off to the side and not be so focused on that because, I feel like when you're a top player, um, you're already proven that you can play at that level, that you're winning those events, that you're going deep in big tournaments. So to kind of panic maybe when you're not having great results, um, I feel like what the best players in the world do. I mean, I think you've seen that with Coco, with Arena, with Iga, with all of them, with Jasmine who just won Rome. You see that it's not like you're winning every single week, but I think when you do kind of have maybe a couple weeks that are off, they're able to kind of just bounce back. And I think that's probably for me what I feel is like the most important for the top players. They don't kind of dwell on any tough results. And tennis is so hard. You're playing every single week. You're not going to win every single week. It's impossible. So, putting that much pressure on yourself is just, stuff that you don't need. Extra things you don't extra baggage, I guess I should say. So, I think having a short memory for the bad stuff is super important.
Absolutely. I know that you just mentioned, Grand Slams, and you're in the search for your first career, Grand Slam win. Do you feel kind of closer than ever to kinda closing in on that and even getting multiple wins at some point?
Um, you know, it's funny, like US Open, I made finals and you're like so close. And then you lose and you're like, oh gosh, like I gotta try and do that again. It's a
Right.
lot of matches and it's a long 2 weeks. So I think um just going back to even the relationship with Hyatt of just, like, enjoying being on the road, enjoying like, there's 2 I mean, usually at a slam, if you go all the way to the end, you're really there for 3 weeks. So being someplace for 3 weeks is, to me, really difficult, like, being in a hotel room. And so I think I've learned how to kinda get through that a little bit. I think learning how to kinda balance the days and the weeks, like, they get really long and you can get kind of tired or you feel like you did well enough and you kinda, like, shut down mentally. But I think, I've gotten much better at kind of balancing the long 2 to 3 week events, especially a slam, and I think that was kind of a big hurdle that I had to get through, especially, able to do it at the US Open. But, yeah, you kinda just you reset and you're already back and you're like, "Oh, gotta do it again." And, that can be hard, but I do feel like, um, yeah, I definitely made a big jump last year, and that was important for me. But at the same time, I am still excited and eager to try and do it again, and I think embracing that challenge is what tennis is all about. So hopefully I can stay fresh and, mentally stay, you know, recover well and stay clear-headed and, yeah, take it day by day and, hopefully that'll help me kinda get through. I know that I can do it, so I think that that makes it much easier when you know that you can do it.
Last few questions for you here. I mentioned Coco kind of being in the rankings with you, but Madison Keys, Emma Navarro, two other strong American tennis players are in the top 10 as well. So, how does it make you feel seeing these incredible American women, being represented in such an amazing way and ranked so high?
I think it's really cool, and I love the fact that we've all had entirely different successful stories, and it's all come about in different types of ways. Emma going to college, Maddie, kind of being touted as the next big thing, and then maybe for whatever people think she didn't win every single slam like Serena and then was able to capitalize on winning her first slam this year. And then you have Coco, who we've seen be a superstar at such a young age and has already established herself as a top player, already won a grand slam. And then myself, who was kind of a late bloomer. So I think it's really cool that we have such different journeys and such different stories, but yet we're all here kind of living out the same type of dream. And I think that to me is what's so cool. And not only that, but they're all really great girls, really great people. We're all pretty good friends with everyone. So I think pushing each other um in a friendly way, but kind of knowing that we're all at the top and kind of pushing each other along, I think is really, really cool. And I think to be a part, looking back on when I look back on my career, I'm sure one day I think being a part of that group will definitely be a lot more special than maybe me just hanging out there by myself. I think it takes the pressure off too, you have all these other girls. If you don't do well, it's the sole focus isn't on you maybe losing. There's a lot of other girls they can choose from to root for. So I think that's also kind of nice.
I love that. I love that so much. I saw clips of you attending the Kelsey Bellerini concert, and it looked like
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. Does her music kinda keep rotation in your pre-match, playlists?
Yeah, so it does. I know her album kind of dropped pretty recently, so it definitely was in my rotation. She's super sweet. Again, I've known her for a long time personally, so it's kind of cool because I remember when she was kind of working so hard to make it. And I feel like our careers kind of like, I mean, she's a superstar, but like kind of went up at the same time. So, and we're I think pretty similar in age. So I think it's been really cool to kind of have that experience with her. And it's not that, yeah, I'm not super close with her, but I definitely know her pretty well. So I love following her music. It makes it all more exciting to follow someone's music, especially when you know that they're a great person and they're super nice, super down to earth and humble. So always a big Kelsey fan. I know she was on The Voice this season as well, so I've been following that a little bit more just because of her and big fan of her music. I love country music, but I think she's super talented. So she's had some songs in my rotation for sure.
Love it. Alright, last one for you. In the picture that you posted with Kelsey, you guys are holding Sabres, Bills jerseys. I have to ask, I'd be remiss if I didn't, is it the Bills' year this year?
That's what everyone was just saying to me in, like, January, so it's not that odd of a question. I hope so. I mean, of course, I'm rooting for them all the time. I hope that they can do it. Josh Allen's a stud. We've had amazing teams, have an amazing coaching staff, and the way that they've turned that all around over the last few years and created such a really cool culture, and then have Josh kind of be one of the faces of the league is just it's really cool, and it's really cool for Buffalo, which is such kind of a small city with like I mean, a city but very small town feel. And it revolves around that team. So I hope for the sake of the city and the fans, they definitely deserve it.